Hello children, how are you? I hope you are all fine. Do you maintain your health properly? Okay, good morning children. See, do you remember what we taught in the last class? Yes. So, we learned that how can we insert the rDNA or that inserted DNA inside the cell. Yes, we learned the two methods, direct and indirect method. Indirect method and it has 5 or 6 steps. That is what are that? We'll know that is micro injections and electroporation, bioelastic and there is liposomes. Lot of techniques we learn and direct method of gene in transformation by using the TI plasmid we can insert the gene. Now this is the next step after inserting the desired gene inside the cell. So what is that step? It means that screening of recombinant DNA. What it is said to be? Screening of recombinant DNA. What does mean by screening? Checking whether the inserted gene is located inside the cell or not. So that the plasmid, whether it is having the inserted gene, the foreign particle is there or not, to deducting or finding that inserted gene is located or not. That is called as screening. Okay. So for the screening here, 3 methods they have given. So one, it is mainly it is used to receive the received DNA, to check the received DNA is present or not. Received DNA is present or not. So this is the main technique for this is called as screening of recombinant technique. So here they are using the insertional inactivation blue-white colony selection method. What it is? Insertional inactivation blue-white colony selection method. By this method, so we can easily identify, this is one type, here 3 types they have given. In this type, we can easily identify whether if it is there inserted gene in there, so it will not form the blue color. So if it not forms the blue color, then it is, we can identify there is no insertion. If it is forming blue color, it is not inserted gene is present. If there is no blue color formation, we can confirm that it contains the inserted gene. What you can't understand now? Come, let's learn the procedure, then it is easily you can identify. So here we have chosen the plasmid. So in this plasmid only we kept that that is DNA desirable that fragment we have kept. This is what? Amphicoelin resistant. Amphicoelin resistant DNA fragment we have inserted inside. So this is a foreign DNA. This is the foreign DNA and this is a plasmid. So this plasmid having the capacity. So what is the facility? So it having the ORI site, that is origin of replication site, and it has the multiple cloning site. And in addition, we are keeping here one gene is called as LAC-Z gene. What it is said to be? LAC-Z gene. So this LAC, what is the function of this LAC-Z gene? This LAC-Z gene is encoded with the enzyme called as beta galactosidase. What it does? So this is a plasmid having the foreign DNA. What is the capacity of foreign DNA? It is resistant toward the amphicoelin. So amphicoelin is an antibiotic. So this DNA is showing the resistance. So it can grow even in the presence of amphicoelin antibiotic. So that gene is located here. This is foreign DNA, and here we are inserting one more gene. It is called LAC gene. So this LAC gene is main function. It is encoded with a enzyme called as beta galactosidase. What it is? Beta galactosidase. This beta galactosidase, it breaks the breaks the X-gal. It breaks the X-gal. So X-gal is nothing but it is the amphicoelin or X-gal. X-gal is a chemical substance. So amphicoelin filled plate or X-gal filled plate. So do you know what is this plate? This is culturing plate. So it is called as Petri plate, Peri plate or Petri dish. We can say it as a Petri dish. So in the culture medium, this is a Petri dish. This Petri dish is filled with the penicillin antibiotic. So here, so we having a penicillin antibiotic is there inside. Okay. So either it may be penicillin or it may be X-gal. X-gal. So X-gal is nothing but it's a chemical substance which will be having 5-bromo, 4-chloro, indole, beta D, galactopyranoside. So this is a chemical full name. It's simply we can call X-gal. So this petri dish is containing the ampicillin or X-gal. Okay. So mainly this laxine, if it is maximum, it breaks this X-gal and forms a blue color. It breaks the X-gal and forms the blue color. When it forms the blue color, suppose if the cell is having, what it is, cell, see here, if the cell is not having the foreign DNA, if the cell not having the foreign DNA, so they are active with X-gal. So this laxine, that the beta galactosidase, breaks the X-gal and forming the blue color in the absence of the foreign DNA. In the absence of foreign DNA, the process is active. So the beta galactosidase convert the X-gal and forming the blue color. So if blue color is formed, it indicates there is no insertion. There is no insertion. And if the cell is having the foreign DNA, it is inactive. So what happens? So it cannot, the beta galactosidase of laxine cannot break this X-gal, so it will not produce blue color. So if the blue color is not formed, so it is containing the insertion DNA. If the blue color is formed, so it does not having the insertions. Clear, children? If the foreign DNA is present, so in case of foreign DNA, this will be inactive. In the absence of, if the absence of the foreign DNA, this will be active. If this will be active, this will change the beta galactosidase, that the beta galactosidase of the laxine, LAC-Z, convert the X-gal into blue color, breaks and form the blue color. Okay. So if the ampicillin is present, this laxine will be inactive, so it can't break the X-gal, so it cannot produce the blue color. So understood, children? So this is the reason. So now the culture is grown inside the ampicillin. So inside the ampicillin, so certain bacteria are produced, certain cells are producing the blue color, and certain cells are not produced blue color. Which is producing the blue color, we can confirm, by this screening method, we can confirm this will not having the insertion, and this which is not having the blue color is it will be having the foreign DNA. So in this method, this is called as insertional inactivation blue-white colony selection. So in this is one of the method to check whether the received DNA is present or not. Children, clear? Okay. So next we are going to learn about the antibiotic resistant marker. This is also similar like this. So shall I rub this? Understood, children? Okay. See, in the second method, antibiotic resistant marker. So what is antibiotic resistant marker? So we have taken the that is plasmid, which will be having the ampicillin resistant site. So this DNA is allowed to grow in a colony, allowed to grow in a petri dish. So petri dish is nothing but it is a glassware which is used in the lab, laboratory for culturing technique. Periplate, it is called as periplate. Okay, so now this, we are allowing this to grow inside the colony. So we have to check whether this colony is having inserted DNA or not. Okay, so this petri dish is having the antibiotic resistant marker. So it will be having ampicillin. So we are taking ampicillin inside the petri dish. Periplate. So in the periplate we have taken the liquid is called as ampicillin. This ampicillin is a antibiotic. So this antibiotic will not allow the bacteria to, so those bacteria is having the ampicillin resistant. Those who having the ampicillin resistant will grow. Which having the ampicillin resistant will grow. The cell which doesn't have the ampicillin resistant will not survive. So after that, after some time, what happens? This cells which doesn't have the ampicillin resistant will be dies, or it will not grow in the colony. By this technique, we can easily screen out whether the cell is having the DNA or not. Okay, so this is the method. Second one, antibiotic resistant marker method. By this technique, we can easily screen out whether the cell is having DNA or not. And third one is the replica plating technique. What it is? Replica plating technique. In this replica plating technique, so first this is a master plate. So this master plate only we are growing the colony. So here the bacterial colony is grown here. So this colony, so some will be having that ampicillin resistant bacteria and some is not having the ampicillin bacteria. Now we are going to find out whether which is having the ampicillin resistant and which is not having the ampicillin resistant. So this is a technique to deduct whether it is having the foreign DNA or not. What is the foreign DNA? Ampicillin resistant. Okay. So here first one we have to take a do you know how to keep a seal? Facsimile. How we are keeping the facsimile? So we will keeping the ink pad. We will press on the ink pad and we will place it, or we will stamp on the paper. No. So like that. So here this is a master plate. Here the clone is cultured. Now, so this is a like stamp. The velvet cloth is tied. That is what velvet cloth are tied over the like a petri dish. It is tightly kept arranged. Now, so with the help of that velvet block, we have to make we have to touch the colony. So the impression will be coming on the velvet. That is what velvet block. So after this is called as imprinting of the colony. This technique is called as imprinting of the colony. After that, this imprint again we have to again mark on the what it is, ampicillin culture medium. So here we have to take a new culture medium. So new culture medium, agar medium. We have to take a new agar medium. New agar medium is taken. So in this new agar medium, so one is containing, see, this plate is having the ampicillin. This plate is having the ampicillin. This plate is having the ampicillin and this plate doesn't have the ampicillin. Okay. So what happens now? This imprint is pressed on the culture medium over both the petri dish. Now we are going to check whether which will be having. So here what happens? This will be containing ampicillin and this is not having ampicillin. So all the colony will be growing without any disturbance. So but here, it having the ampicillin. So this will be growing. So what it has? So this will be called as replicated DNA, and which is not having here, they are called as sensitive colony. So which colony is not grown here? They are called as, so here this is not grown, no. So this is called as what? Sensitive colony. It is not grown here. So these are called as sensitive colony. So it is not grown because what? Due to the ampicillin antibiotic, this is not having the foreign DNA. So it does not having the property to grow. So they destroyed. So this is called as what? Ampicillin sensitive colony. So by this technique we can easily identify this will be having DNA or not. Children, so next we will see some other techniques in next class. Children, So we learned up to that is what that screening of biotechnology up to that is what ampicillin resistant can be easily identified by imprinting technology and that white and blue colony separation and antibiotic resistant colony method. Now we are going to learn about the molecular technique of isolation of genetic material. So here we are using that agarose gel method or agarose gel electrophoresis method. So here we are using that we are making the micro molecules to migrate, and this already we know the DNA will be having the electrical charge. So maximum DNA fragment will be having the negative charge, so they move toward the positive charge. By the main thought, we are going to separate the DNA fragment. Okay, so that is called as the molecular technique of isolation genetic material. So here it is mainly used to purify the specific DNA fragment. So we can easily isolate the DNA fragment, or we can easily identify what DNA fragment where it is located. So we are using here agarose gel. So maximum this agarose gel is used to separate few hundreds to 20,000s of base pairs separations, or polyacrylamide gel we can use this gel for separating what small DNA fragment. Children, clear up to this? So now this is molecular technique of isolation of genetic material. Now we are going to see about the that is what agarose gel electrophoresis. So gel electrophoresis method. So isolation of DNA by using the gel electrophoresis. DNA by gel electrophoresis. So this is the method we are going to find out, or we are going to isolate the DNA. So for that we have a certain steps. First we have to isolate the DNA. How the DNA can be isolated? So it is there in our practical books. So for that, if we want to select the DNA fragment, we need a DNA. So we will be collecting the DNA. So for example, if you want to collect that is what our DNA, what salivary gland, or if you want to collect the DNA of a plant, so leaf, for example, neem leaf has to be collected, and using the pestle you have to grind it and take the juice. Okay, so that juice you can add the that is what a vim liquid and stir it well, and then if you add chilled ethanol, so here you are taking the sample solution, that is leaf extract, then we added the lymph liquid. Along with that, if you add chilled ethanol, so after few hours, that this DNA fragment will be getting separated. So the ethanol will be floating up and the remaining water fragment will be down. In between you can find the DNA fragments. Understood, children? This is a method of isolating or separating the DNA fragment. So first we have to take the sample. So for example, leaf extract. So the leaf extract was added with the soap solutions. So we are using the vim liquid here, so to stir it well, and then if you add the chilled ethanol, within few hours it will be isolated like this. You can easily, so here it will be having the DNA. The DNA will be comes separately in the middle part. Okay, so how can you will be separating? By using a spooling method. So isolating or separating this DNA fragment is called as spooling method. How we can do this? By using any glass rod or any scoop, by we can easily we can isolate the DNA fragment. So this is the first step for isolating the DNA. And the next step we can use is, so next is what? Spooling. And third step is using the agarose, that is what? Electrophoresis. So normally without electrophoresis, if we want to isolate now, so we can take the agarose gel, a plate has to be taken, This will be coated with agarose gel. It will be coated, this is a plate coated with gel, agarose gel, coated with agarose gel. If you isolated, so take a trap over here, keep a trap over here, and then if you place the DNA fragment here, if you pour the DNA fragment here, they will run based on the density gradient. What is density gradient? So the trap will be having opening over here. Then so the larger DNA will be come and occupy in the upper region, and the smaller DNA fragments will come down. So larger DNA fragments and the smaller fragments will come down like this. Okay, so this is density gradient. Separate based on the density gradient, we can separate the the DNA fragment on the agarose gel plate. So here in case we are, while we learning the gel electrophoresis, here one more word is there, gel electrophoresis. Same method, but we are using the electricity over here. So we are using the isoelectric force. What we are using? Isoelectric force will be used. Isoelectric force. Isoelectric force will be used. So this isoelectric point is used to separate the DNA. So here for that we are using a glass plate, and this glass plate we are using the gel. We added the gel here. The density is based on the DNA fragment. The density, particular density, like a jelly consistency, we have to take the gel, agarose gel. Okay. So now we have to fix the electric charge. So this is negative terminal and this is positive terminal. Okay, so now if you pouring, so where we have to pour, now already we know the DNA fragment is negative charge. So if you are pouring the DNA here, if you are pouring DNA here, they will start to move from negative to positive charge. So because the DNA fragment having the negative charge, so start to move from negative to toward the positive charge. Understood, children? But here we are adding one more technique, that is what pH technique. So what is here isoelectric point? Isoelectric point, certain DNA molecules lose its charge at particular pH. So DNA lose its charge at particular pH. So we are using the pH over pH based on pH also we are separating the DNA fragment here. So if we have to mark it with pH, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 like that. Okay. So if you are pouring the DNA fragment here, some of the DNA strand lose its charge at this direction. So they will be stop here. They wouldn't move. They couldn't move from here to there. Some will like this, like here. Some will stand here. Some will not move beyond this. So like that you will be getting different DNA strand, DNA fragments based on the pH, based on the what it is isoelectric point. Isoelectric point is already I said what is the DNA fragment lose its charge at particular pH. Some will lose in the pH of 6, some will lose in the pH of 7. Where it stops, afterwards it don't have the capacity to move. So then they will be stopped, they won't move. The remaining will be have the remaining DNA fragment which having the charge will move. So after that this will be collected, this will be selected, and it is fourth step. We have to see the fourth step. So this has to be taken and placed on the another agarose gel. Placed on the other agarose gel plate. So again this will be having a trap. So this trap will be having the space. Now this gel will be isolated and placed here, and it will be placed over this trap. Okay. So now this will be having different DNA strands. So now they will come down by means of density gradient, So the larger will be stop here and the smaller, then the small will come and stand over here. So you will be getting the agarose gel like this. Agarose gel, so you will be getting the DNA strand like this, but it is not visible. So then how it is possible to visible? How can make it into visible? By two method is there for making it visible. Okay, so what it does, so now we need to separate the DNA, means we have to scoop, like how we are taking the ice creams or any custards from the bowl. So you, by scooping, okay, like that, if this is a gel, like that, you can scoop with the any material, and you can scoop the DNA along with the gel. Okay, so for that we should know where the DNA is located. Here we are using the red color marker, so it is visible, but actually while doing this this electrophoresis technique, it is not visible. So how it by making visible, we have to treat the plate with two method. One is this first one, and this is second one. So next step to making visible, so illumination method. Illumination method should be chosen. So for that we need a ethyl bromide. So first we have to take the glass plate, and the glass plate should be dipped inside the ethyl bromide. So if it is dipped inside the ethyl bromide, wherever the DNA is located, that will be fixed with the ethyl bromide, and it will be changed into orange color. It will be reflect as orange color. So by means of ethyl bromide, we can easily illuminate where the DNA is located. And one more method is there, that is using the X-ray. So X-ray, if you are using the X-ray, it is called as DNA hybridization. So in that, so if you taking the X-ray, you can easily find out that is what that X-ray film will be showing the DNA where it is located. But before taking the X-ray, we have to do one more treatment. That is, we have to add the glass plate with the DNA probe. We have to add glass plate with the DNA probe. We have to add DNA probe. Children, do you know what is DNA probe? It is a ready-made DNA strand. Ready-made DNA strand with particular DNA sequence. Suppose this will be having ACTGC sequence. Okay, if you add this in the plate, so they will go on fix, or they will go on to its complementary sequence. Suppose if the complementary sequence, so if this probe is go and bind here, we can easily find what strand is here, what strand. So maximum they are all what is complementary strand. So whatever is there in this strand, the complementary will be formed by that strand. So now I am telling, now see, suppose this is a DNA strand. Now how can you find the complementary? So if this is a DNA probe, then the complementary will be having for A, T, for C, G, for T, A, for G, C, for C, G. So this would be the DNA of the separated, which is present in the agarose gel. So by this technique, we can easily identify what type of strand is present in the agarose gel. So after doing this, we have to take this X-ray. If you take the X-ray, you can find a gray color. So it will be appear like gray color or black color. So easily the DNA strand will be look like gray or black color. By seeing this, you can easily identify where the DNA is located. Okay, so the same procedure is common for the next one, that is called as blotting technique. So blotting technique, all the steps, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, everything is same. After that, step 5, after the remaining things, after doing this DNA probe, then the next step would be followed in the blotting technique. So that is called as what it is, blotting technique. In the blotting technique, if you are separating the DNA, it is called as southern blotting. If you are separating a protein, it is called as western blotting. If you are separating the protein, so if you separate DNA by say gel electrophoresis, then it is called as northern blotting technique. If you separate RNA, if you separate RNA through gel electrophoresis, then it is said to be southern blotting technique. If you separate protein, then it is said to be same gel electrophoresis. Then it is said to be western blotting technique. Okay, so same method. What are separation of DNA? Then what? Separation of DNA and isolation of DNA. Then isoelectric force, by means of isoelectric force, separating the DNA fragment and then transferring from the gel to agarose plate. Then from the plate, it is by using the ethyl bromide we can eliminate, or by using the DNA probe, by doing the hybridization method, we can easily trace out where the DNA is located and what the complementary sequence there in the strand. So after that, the next technique is that is isolating DNA is done by the blotting technique. If we separate DNA, it is called through the gel electrophoresis method, is called as northern blotting technique. If you are separating the RNA, it is called as southern blotting technique. If you are separating the protein, it is called as western blotting technique. Children, in the next class we are going to learn about the blotting technique. Thank you, children.